they get into a shell because they don't want to be probably stereotyped as gay, lesbian, or whatever it is. They don't want to be stereotyped and not to be involved in the teamwork or anything in the office. So when they get into office, suddenly get in the shell. They don't come out. But when they come out, they are different people altogether. Now, in a country like India, where it's not probably culturally supportive or legally supportive, what can organizations do in order to sensitize people where they are being accepted?
So Vijay, do you want?
Yeah, I'll just start off with what TCS we have been doing actually. So, one of the things that we have tried to do is to create that sort of an awareness. So we have been working with an NGO called Humsafar actually, and they have been working with awareness, and they've also looked at training our staff to understand how to interact with LGBT people. It's not an easy one for us, so whether it is the facilities that you need, the type of language that you use at workplace, just the whole behavior has to be quite different from what you possibly used to actually, and that's something which is so the awareness and the sensitization, the ability to manage and deal with people with different orientations. I think this is something which is not an easy journey for all of us. And I think, at least what we have tried to do is, it struck us very hard because one of our acquisitions, in Manila, they had a lot of bisexual, transgender people, and we didn't know how to interact with them at all. And then, the head of HR of that unit said, look, I have to do something different here. I have to learn to not just sensitize myself first, but also the wider leadership team, and then it trickles down. So I think that's the way the journey started for us. And I think I can't say that we have got all our entire staff trained or whatever else, but I think that whole awareness is slowly trickling down. The law of land in India doesn't still cater to this or support this. So we still have a challenge. What helped the women was the Nirbhaya thing. So we are just hoping that we don't need any such major event to occur in the country to support these other groups. But if you remember, the law to protect women at workplace just happened only a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So, and it was until then, there was nothing to protect women at workplace actually. And that's where we are as a country. And if you look at what's happening in the rest of the world, they're quite different. And I think what at the Tata Group and TCS we have just tried to do is to shelter all this under the umbrella of equal opportunities employer. I don't think Indian law allow us to do anything more than that as an obvious step, and we have some very strange challenges when we deal with health plans and so on. So it's not an easy one, but whereas when you step out of the country, then you have all those as available capabilities actually, so that your health insurers will support you, your pension plans, everything will support you actually. But in India, we still have those as challenges and constraints. So for now, at least from an awareness, from a recruitment, from a hiring, from the sensitization, I think that is something which we are doing under the banner of being an equal opportunities employer. Yeah.
I would second that from a Wipro standpoint. I think, what we say very clearly is that, we will not discriminate and we will not, tolerate discrimination at the workplace. So if any of anything related to this comes up to the attention of the management or HR or anything, I think we take it up really seriously. Other than that, given the fact that there are certain legal constraints, we are actively involved in all forums. Despite that, we are actively involved in all forums where LGBT is a topic of discussion because it's very much on the table. I can tell you that whenever we have an event around gender or whenever we have an event around persons with disability, we definitely get queries, from the larger cross-section of employees about what are we doing about LGBT. So the level of awareness is there, the acceptance is there. Right, that these are regular people, we have to work alongside them, and we have to encourage them to shed whatever inhibitions they may be bringing to the workplace, like you pointed out, right? We don't want them to feel festered, cloistered, and restrained. So to that extent, we are firmly on board, and we are an inclusive employer, and we will take all steps, once it is a legal, it comes onto the table in the open legally in India, we'll be the first ones to sign up. And of course, given the fact that we have been discussing global organizations. I think outside India, it is a given that you have to have an acceptance of this particular facet of diversity.
Subhaya, this is Sampath here. You may want to share something. He asked about how do we go about bringing the change. Enable India helped a few organizations by a simple step like changing the job description, isn't it? And one of the celebrated cases I have heard is in State Bank. Would you like to share something on that?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things, the people might be aware that there is a 3% reservation in government jobs. But what State Bank of India has reached to us, some 4 years back, we have a few hundreds of persons with vision impairment and hearing impairment in our bank, but we don't know how to use them. Say a simple example could be, in 10-15 years back, you have this telephone operator job, where you can happily put a person with vision impairment over there, but that job does not exist now, right? So there are different things like that. So what we had done, we had identified 47 different types of job roles which could be done by person with vision impairment and hearing impairment, and we had trained these guys on those process, and we did a small impact survey saying that by properly employing person with disabilities in this thing, State Bank of India easily saves more than 2 to 3 crores in a year, because before that they were just paying these guys salary, they don't get any output out of them, but now they are actually working on that, right? So the important thing is to understand the job, what job can be done by what type of a disability. So that kind of reminds me a quote by the famous Albert Einstein, I could just face that, right? So everybody is genius, but if you judge a fish to its ability to climb the tree, it will think its entire life it is stupid, right? But having said that, if the fish wants to climb tree, we will make it happen. So that is the thing, look at job analysis, look at the workplace solutions, there will be workarounds. And then you had seen in the video that Gaushia, she was working as a project coordinator in EMC. She can't move any part of her body below the neck. She uses a speech recognition software. And she's a project coordinator as an MNC like EMC, right? So first, there should be the change in the mindset. Okay, let me look at something which is interesting, which could be possible. Second, there will be solutions which will definitely follow. Yeah.
Hello. I'm Aradhana from HL. It's wonderful to be with such nice people. Now, I would like to add to Mr. Subbia's what he has said. Government is already, 6-7 years back, they had identified the post for, they had asked the PSUs in government sectors to identify the post for the differently abled people, that is visually challenged and hearing impaired, and then the orthopedically challenged people. And they had also set what should be the infrastructure in the organization that will enable these people to work comfortably in the organization. It's already there. This 3% also is inclusive of that. Now, I was lucky enough to work with this differently abled people, and a few of them were reporting to me. I can just say their ability is beyond the normal, the per se normal people. And one person was half visually impaired, and he was reporting to me. He's extremely good drafting skills, and his honesty and sincerity to work is extremely good. And this orthopedically challenged people, they're better than the normal people what I have seen, and they're still reporting to me and giving great output. So it's basically a top-down approach that the policies that are already there, just put them in place, just encourage little bit by changing the physical scenario in the office, and then these people just roll on. If anybody happens to get into HL around 7 o'clock in the morning to see what happens, all these tricycles with the great proud people, they just enter into the gate, and they even, I have seen, dropping the kids in the crèche and husbands in office, and then they go in. Lady and physically challenged. they are given this passage to enter through the security zone straight away till their office with the tricycle. So it's just a push that is needed, and that's the framework is being already followed in some of the PSUs. I don't know, it's not coming to limelight because maybe they're not focusing on it and they're not showcasing it, but it's actually happening. This is the answer to Mr. Mishra also. I mean, the solutions are already there, working and rolling. I mean, we need to just see it and showcase it. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions?
So can I just add a point of Aradhana, what she has mentioned, right? So Aradhana, first hats off to you to did the right hire, and because you had some good or excellent performance with your team, right? But sometimes I also have to come across people who don't perform that well as well, right? So they are person with disabilities, which means they are person, and disability is just an aspect of whatever they are. So you will have average performance, you will have high performance, and you will also have low performance as well. No, that's what we tell a funny statement to company. We will be part of your hiring process, and if required, firing process as well.
Yeah, I would like to
the
add
thing
on.
is, the bottom line of the company is important. That's the thing.
Yeah, I would like to add on this. This is Chandrika myself. Work for Vindhya Infomedia. I mean, you would be knowing yesterday she was awarded one of our CEO. So, I mean, you're saying about 3% and all that. Our company, I would like to proudly say, we have 3% who are normally abled, and most of them, 50% more, are physically abled, and they are working like amazing. And I would say, I'm really proud because when you see those people, they are working, the quality which we give is equal to those qualities. And there's a BPO sector, the calling aspect, the English aspect, we even give training because obviously they come as 12th or graduates, they don't have same skills what we have, what we give our opportunity, they don't have same opportunity. But we train them, we give them equal training what others get. So what performance they give, it's completely because they perform from their heart. Because they know this is the aspect where they have to put in their full 100%. So it's like amazing when because those are the people who have actually grown in our company and they've actually become TL and managers. And the way they manage their team, it's amazing. If you see, we have lots of fights with our own amongst ourselves, but the way they manage, it's too good. So I would like to say if any one of you could, visit our company, it's Vindhya, it's at Bangalore itself, and see what kind of performance they give, the output is really good. So I would say it's a mindset what the company comes up with. So thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing that. It's very encouraging for others who are likely to embark on a journey of a similar nature. Any other questions from the audience?
Is a specific question to Usha. I'm just curious. I would like to know her personal opinion about this. Definitely kudos to you for being a star in a men-dominated industry. I'm sure based on the presentation, I'm sure you might have gone through a lot of challenges, both physically, mentally, for coming up to this level. Now that you are in a relatively higher position in your organization and you're very visible in your industry, it's your personal opinion is what I'm looking at. Would you like to have more women joining your company or rather the industry? If yes, have you voiced out your opinion to the top leadership to hire, promote, encourage more women joining your industry? If yes, please help us with understanding.
Certainly, I would like to see more women joining these industries because that is how change will take place. And there are women joining also, but as a leaky pipeline, what we have seen, it becomes very apparent in our kind of industry. For example, I mean, recently NNBC hired around 30 women management trainees, the executive cadre. But after 2 years, we are hardly left with 1 or 2. Because being posted, they were hired specifically to work for the Nagarnar steel plant, which is coming up in Chhattisgarh, another area which is not as remote as Dantewada, but just 4-5 hours of difference. But then after they are married, and if you don't have your partner who is living there itself, it becomes very difficult. So even if you want to see more and more people to be there, to continue in the organization, but working conditions or your personal life certainly takes a priority. But once you are there, if you are I always say your passion for doing well remains. So certainly now I can see that consciously or unconsciously, I am inspiring a lot of women that previously when friends used to say, Usha, you are setting a very wrong example. When you stay back till 9 o'clock every day in the evening, our seniors say, Usha can stay, why can't you stay? Usha also has a young son, why are you cribbing about your job? They used to complain to me. But now, I think that they can understand that this model also can coexist. And maybe I'm lucky in that sense that my family members also have accepted this, that her job is also important. They've learned to accept this. So, and slowly, knowingly or unknowingly, you inspire more women to join. And I also get inspired when I see Arundhati Bhattacharya. I said, "Arey, when she can become SBI chairman, why not anyone? Why not me?" So I should at least try for it. So that's how the chain goes on.
Right, so we are now pretty much towards an end of a very interesting session and a very interactive one too. I think to wrap it up, there are, the topic for us was inclusion, right? So while diversity as a number may be easy to get, you can recruit. Can you, really include in the true sense? So I would want, all of you to probably just state 2 things that as per you, are very important and, people can take back to their organizations which you feel can impact the inclusion aspect of it, We are done with the hiring. We brought the people in. Now what about inclusion? So 2 things that you think are important to keep in mind for an inclusive approach.
What's worked for us is having these seamless teams. In the sense you have a good mix of everybody. It's a melting pot and it's really worked for us because your respect comes from working together. You start acknowledging that somebody else has skills that are really complementary to yours or supplementary to yours, and as a result to develop an inclusive environment. So making them stand out constantly and telling people no, legitimize their existence doesn't make any sense. For us what's worked is all those large team activities that people perform. Some are on-site, some are offshore, and they still have to deliver, especially in our consulting model and in our BPO model. It's really worked for us, and I think that is how they become a part and parcel of the organization.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That makes sense.
I think what's worked for us the most is 2 things. One is the whole sensitization. So from the Tata Group level, we have a program called as the Tata Lead Program, and where the group has really tried to build up champions across each of the group companies to understand the challenges of creating an inclusive culture, but more importantly that sensitization to become the lead champions. So that's the group level initiatives. As important for us was actually the it's like what Bindu mentioned, you have to make this happen at every stage of life. So you just can't say that, look, I've done the sensitization, that's enough. But then that continuous interaction, so from our D&I team, Rani here is a part of that. But I think that ability to create networks, to have initiatives, to have that continuous collaboration, sensitize, but then share the best practices, share role models, that type of a thing. It creates that a continuous, a front of the mind type of feeling for people. Actually, I think that's really important. And what we've seen is a lot of that happening in TCS in the last about 15 years. I mean, it's a big change for us as a company, where we actively promote D&I initiatives, we actively promote networking sessions, we actively promote things like role models, sharing, inspire. So use every channel that we can to talk of it, to really build up that awareness and tell people that they have to be conscious about it. There is no excuse saying that, look, in the heat of the moment I made this statement. It's absolutely unconscionable, it is absolutely unforgivable. I think that is something which can only happen if you are continuously, given those inputs and, you continuously sensitize. I think that is the most important thing. It's not a one-off, injection that you can get. It's not, like your measles vaccination or whatever else. You have to be continuously aware. You have to continuously strive to improve and continuously strive to foster that culture of inclusion, actually. So that's my take on it, and that's what we've been trying to do in these years.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
So to just add on the inclusion part, no? So what has enabled India, because we work with more than 600 companies in 26 sectors across India. And what we had seen working with corporates, some of the corporates, right? So we are able to do some co-creation of this vision of this inclusion, right? Why you had to be inclusive, right? And let's understand inclusion is an effort by itself, right? It is not something which comes to a lot of people naturally. And for various reasons, because we all work based on affinity groups, right? If you like a particular sport and I like a particular sport, we become friends. And you like a particular actor and I like a particular actor, we become friends, right? And suddenly when you are introducing something which is new, which is different from you, obviously there will be a resistance, right? In terms of accepting, is it right or is it wrong? Or how do I do it, right? And forget about disability or any inclusion for that matter. So where inclusion can be easily measured is in cafeterias of each companies, right? Go to cafeterias, see, you can see all the region people will be sitting together, Telugu people, Tamil, Hindi and all those things. And what happens sometimes, you even if you're having a person who's coming and not knowing the particular language, you might not even realize, okay, I'm having a conversation with my group, this person might not even follow what we are talking about. So, inclusion is at that level, right? But once we